Chapter 1. Arrival. A small, decrepit military installation sits on the outskirts of Clearwater, Montana, its chain-link fences sagging, and a no trespassing sign rusted and faded. It's known to locals as the Old Mill, a place abandoned years ago after being decommissioned in the mid-90s. For most residents, it's just another forgotten relic of the Cold War. But to a group of bikers, the Black Vultures, it's an opportunity. The Vultures have been pushing meth across the state, using their motorcycles to ferry drugs between towns. The Old Mill seems like a perfect place to store their wares, away from prying eyes and police scrutiny. On a cool autumn night, they roll in 20 riders strong, their engines growling and exhaust fumes clouding the air. What they don't know is that the Old Mill isn't quite as empty as it seems. Chapter 2. The Ghosts of War. Unbeknownst to the world, a group of former Special Forces soldiers, veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, have been using the Old Mill as their sanctuary. Led by retired Captain Ben Harlow, these soldiers call themselves Iron Resolve. They've turned the crumbling military base into a private refuge, a place where they can live quietly, train, and heal from the scars of war. Some are amputees, others carry psychological wounds. All of them are deadly. Harlow, a hardened but compassionate leader, has a simple philosophy: leave them alone, and they'll leave you alone. But when the Black Vultures burst onto their property, revving engines and smashing beer bottles, Harlow knows this isn't going to end peacefully. Chapter 3. First Contact. The Vultures begin unloading crates of drugs and weapons, laughing loudly and mocking the military paraphernalia scattered around the base. One of them, a wiry man nicknamed Slick, wanders too close to one of the buildings. A hand shoots out of the darkness and grabs him. Slick is dragged into the shadows, muffled screams echoing before silence falls. The bikers notice his absence and spread out, searching the area. That's when the first warning comes. A deep, gravelly voice echoes through the base. You're trespassing on military property. Leave now or face the consequences. The Vultures laugh it off, but their leader, Blade, a hulking man with a scar running down his face, senses something is off. He orders his men to arm up. Chapter 4. The Trap is Sprung. What follows is a night of terror for the bikers. The soldiers use their training to systematically dismantle the gang. They move like ghosts, striking from the shadows, disabling motorcycles, and setting traps. One biker stumbles into a tripwire and is sent flying by a small explosive charge. Another finds himself in a chokehold, unconscious before he hits the ground. Blade grows increasingly paranoid, barking orders and firing blindly into the darkness. The soldiers toy with them, using psychological warfare to unnerve the gang. A speaker system, rigged by one of the tech-savvy soldiers, blasts the sounds of screaming jets and gunfire, making the bikers think they're under siege. Chapter 5. Retaliation. By morning, only a handful of bikers remain, battered and terrified. But Blade isn't one to back down. He rallies his men for a final assault, rigging Molotov cocktails and donning bulletproof vests. They storm the main building, only to find it empty. Or so they think. Hidden within the walls, the soldiers wait. Using their intimate knowledge of the base's layout, they ambush the bikers in a brutal, close-quarters fight. Despite their bravado, the Vultures are no match for the precision and ruthlessness of Iron Resolve. Blade manages to wound one soldier, but he's eventually overpowered by Harlow himself in a brutal fistfight. Chapter 6. Justice. With the bikers subdued, the soldiers debate what to do. Some argue for calling the police, while others want to take matters into their own hands. Ultimately, Harlow decides to let the authorities handle it, but not before teaching the Vultures a lesson they'll never forget. The soldiers destroy the bikers' drug stash and weapons, then load the gang into their own vehicles and drive them to the nearest police station, leaving them hogtied in the parking lot with a note: they picked the wrong fight. Iron Resolve. Chapter 7. A quiet victory. With the bikers out of the picture, the Old Mill returns to its quiet solitude. The soldiers go back to their routines, training and supporting each other as they continue to heal. Word spreads through the town about what happened, though no one knows the full truth. For Harlow and his team, it's a reminder of who they are and what they're capable of. They may no longer wear the uniform, but their duty to protect and defend remains as strong as ever. Let me know if you'd like this story expanded further.